The invisible strategist, the quarterly reports scattered across. Oliver Reed's desk represented millions in potential investments, but his attention had drifted to the skyline view from his corner office. 40 floors above Seattle, the tech mogul's empire of sustainable energy startups stretched beyond what the eye could see. He drummed his fingers against the mahogany desk, impatient. "Mr. Reed?" Jasmine Lin stood in the doorway, tablet in hand. "The Tokyo investors are waiting in conference." Room 3. Jasmine had been Oliver's chief strategy officer for nearly 2 years, orchestrating his company's expansion across Asian markets with remarkable precision. At 33, she possessed a quiet brilliance that transformed chaotic data into elegant solutions. Her analytical mind had saved Red Innovations from at least 3 potential disasters. Now, Oliver rarely acknowledged this fact. "Tell them I'll be there in 5, Oliver replied without looking up. "And get me the Nakamura portfolio analysis." "It's already loaded on your presentation tablet," Jasmine said, placing it beside him, along with talking points about their concerns regarding the Singapore distribution center. "And I've included the revised ROI projections they specifically requested." Oliver glanced at the tablet, scrolling through meticulously organized data. "This looks different from what we discussed yesterday. I updated it at 4 a.m. when the new market figures came in from Shanghai. Their concerns will be addressed before they even voice them." For a brief moment, Oliver's expression softened with something resembling gratitude. Good thinking. These were the moments that kept Jasmine going, fleeting seconds when Oliver recognized her value beyond her job description. Not that she needed constant validation, but after pouring her heart into building his vision, a genuine acknowledgement felt like water in a desert. "Do you need anything else before the meeting?" she asked, already mentally reviewing her next 3 tasks. Oliver shook his head, attention already returning to his phone. "That's all, Jasmine." As she turned to leave, her colleague Dominic caught her eye from across the open office space, giving her an encouraging thumbs up. He alone seemed to notice how Jasmine's strategic brilliance kept the company's wheels turning while Oliver collected the accolades. That evening, Reed Innovations hosted its annual Innovation Gala, where tech luminaries gathered to network and celebrate breakthroughs in sustainable energy. While technically invited as an executive, Jasmine found herself working adjusting schedules, directing staff, ensuring Oliver connected with key investors. She wore a simple navy dress, professional yet elegant, her long dark hair pulled back in her characteristic neat bun. Across the room, Oliver charmed a group of venture capitalists, his tailored suit and easy confidence commanding attention. When the crowd thinned near midnight, Jasmine found herself alone with Oliver on the terrace overlooking the city lights. He seemed unusually reflective, perhaps influenced by the 3 glasses of champagne he'd consumed. "You know, Lynn," he said, using her last name as he often did, "sometimes I wonder if we're actually making a difference or just moving money around." The rare moment of vulnerability surprised her. "The Osaka project will bring affordable solar to thousands of families," she said softly. "That's real impact, beyond the profit margins." Oliver turned toward her, really seeing her for perhaps the first time that evening. "You really believe in what we're doing, don't you?" "I wouldn't be here if I didn't," she replied, gathering her courage. "That's what I admire about you, actually. Beneath all the business strategy, there's genuine vision." Something shifted. In the air between them, a moment of authentic connection. Jasmine took a deep breath. "Oliver, I've been meaning to tell you that I'm Mr. Reed." A voice interrupted as Bernard from marketing appeared. "The Singapore investors are asking for you?" Oliver straightened immediately, the moment shattered. "Of course." Before leaving, he turned back to Jasmine with an awkward half-smile. "We're saying?" Heart pounding, Jasmine continued. "I just think that maybe there could be something more between us. Beyond work, I mean." Oliver's expression shifted, a flash of surprise followed by uncomfortable recognition. He glanced around. To ensure they weren't overheard, "Jasmine, I'm flattered, but ... His voice softened with practiced diplomacy. "You're brilliant at what you do, and I value that tremendously. But romantically, we're just not." He gestured vaguely between them. "We're different worlds, different lives. I don't think we'd align, you understand, right?" The gentle rejection felt like a physical blow, though Jasmine kept her expression professionally neutral. Of course, I misread the situation. It won't affect our working relationship. Great, Oliver said, relief evident in his voice. I need you focused on the Shanghai expansion. We can't afford distractions. And just like that, she was reduced to a business asset again. 3 weeks later, Oliver found Jasmine's resignation letter on his desk. It was characteristically thorough, providing 2 months' notice and a detailed transition plan for her replacement. The reason cited was pursuing new opportunities, professional, dignified, revealing nothing of the complicated truth. When he asked her directly why she was leaving, Jasmine simply smiled and said, "It's time for me to build something of my own." Crossroads of Worth, the Seattle rain pelted against Jasmine's apartment windows as she packed the last of her office belongings into a cardboard box. 2 framed achievement certificates, a collection of strategy books, and the small jade plant Dominic had given her on her first day. 6 years at Reed Innovations reduced to a single container. Her phone buzzed with a text from Dominic. "Team going to Murphy's to drown our sorrows over losing you. Please come." She smiled but declined. Her flight to Vancouver left in the morning, and she needed this quiet evening to close this chapter properly. The past 3 weeks had been surprisingly liberating. Oliver had been cordial but distant during her notice period, occasionally looking at her with confusion, as if trying to solve a puzzle. He'd offered a substantial counteroffer on her last day, which she politely declined. "I don't understand," he had said, genuinely perplexed. "Where are you going that could possibly offer more opportunity than here?" "It's not always about the biggest opportunity, Oliver," she'd replied. "Sometimes it's about the right one." "How?" As Jasmine sipped her tea, her laptop pinged with an email from her cousin Beatrice in Vancouver. "Condo is ready for you. Can't wait to have you here. The technology incubator is buzzing about your arrival. Also, random question, would you consider letting my photography student practice portraits with you? She needs diverse professional women for her final project." Jasmine smiled. Beatrice had always been her loudest cheerleader, even when they were children. While she wasn't thrilled about being photographed, saying yes to new experiences felt like part of her fresh start. Bloom of authenticity, the photography session was surprisingly enjoyable. The student, Valerie, had an easy manner that made Jasmine forget her self-consciousness. "Most of my subjects try to pose how they think they should look," Valerie observed. Adjusting her camera, "You're just ... present. It's refreshing." 3 weeks later, Jasmine was immersed in her new role at Texas State, Vancouver's leading technology incubator for environmental startups. Her office overlooked the harbor, and for the first time in years, she was building strategies for her own vision rather than someone else's. When Beatrice called excitedly one evening, Jasmine assumed it was about the upcoming family dinner. "You need to check your email right now," Beatrice insisted. "Valerie's professor showed your portraits to his friend at Authentech magazine. They want to feature you in their Innovators Reimagining Tech spread." "That's ridiculous," Jasmine laughed. "I'm not a model. Exactly why they want you. They're featuring real technologists changing the industry. The theme is beyond the hoodie, challenging the image of who belongs in tech leadership." Against her better judgment, Jasmine agreed. The photo shoot was sophisticated but comfortable, focusing on her in her natural work environment rather than contrived poses. When the magazine was published, response was unexpected. Her thoughtful expression and insightful interview about sustainable technology caught attention not just within tech circles but across industries, looking for fresh perspectives. Within 6 months, Jasmine had been featured in 3 more publications. Her approach to technology leadership, analytical yet deeply human-centered, resonated with an industry tired of empty innovation promises. She was invited to speak at conferences, first about sustainable technology strategies, then increasingly about transforming corporate cultures. 18 months after leaving Reed Innovations, Jasmine found herself leading Texas Stain's new division focused on helping traditional companies transition to sustainable practices. Her team had grown to 15 people. Their client list included corporations across North America and Asia. The irony wasn't lost on her that she'd become known for her authentic leadership style, the very quality Oliver had never fully valued. Echoes of the past. Oliver Reed stared at the digital edition of Innovation Quarterly, unable to reconcile the woman on his screen with the quiet strategist who had left his company 2 years earlier. The headline read, "Jasmine Lin, Redefining Leadership in Sustainable Tech." The article detailed how her consultancy division had transformed 3 Fortune 500 companies' approaches to sustainability, creating both environmental impact and unprecedented profit margins. There was Jasmine in a professional but confident pose, her formerly restrained hair now falling in soft waves around her shoulders, her expression one of composed authority. "Did you see this? Oliver's new CSO, Trevor?" asked from the doorway. "I worked with her," Oliver said quietly. Trevor's eyebrows shot up. "Seriously? She's revolutionizing the industry. Her waitlist for consultancy is over 8 months long." Strange feelings settled in Oliver's stomach, not quite regret. It's not quite admiration, but something uncomfortable in between. 3 weeks later, at the Global Tech Sustainability Summit in Vancouver, Oliver spotted her immediately. Jasmine stood across the crowded reception hall, surrounded by admirers after her keynote address on integrating profitability with environmental responsibility. She wore a simple emerald dress, her presence commanding without trying. When the crowd around her thinned, Oliver approached, heart inexplicably racing. "Jasmine," he said, extending his hand. "It's been a while." She turned, momentary surprise flashing across her features before settling into polite recognition. "Oliver, I didn't know Reed Innovations would be represented here. We're expanding." "Our sustainability division," he said. "Your talk was illuminating." Jasmine smiled, the confidence in her eyes new to him. "Thank you. How have things been in Seattle? Productive? Challenging?" He paused, searching for words that wouldn't come. "You've done well for yourself." "I found my path," she replied simply. The conversation felt strained with unspoken history. Finally, Oliver said what had been circling his mind since seeing her article. "I always knew you were smart, Jasmine, but I never imagined all of this." He gestured vaguely to the conference bearing her influence. Jasmine's expression softened slightly. "Neither did I, honestly. But sometimes we need to be unseen somewhere to discover where we truly belong." A colleague called Jasmine's name, signaling her presence was required elsewhere. "I should go," she said. "It was good seeing you, Oliver." She walked away. Oliver realized with perfect clarity what he had failed to see years ago and what he might have lost in the process. Beyond second chances over the next 4 months, Oliver found himself repeatedly crossing paths with Jasmine at industry events. Each time, their interactions grew less awkward and more genuine. He followed TechSustain's work closely, impressed by the innovative approaches Jasmine's team implemented. At a climate technology forum in Toronto, Oliver approached her with a business proposition. "Reed Innovations would like to contract your team as consultants for our Asian expansion," he said. "Your understanding of both the technology and cultural nuances would be invaluable." Jasmine studied him thoughtfully. "Why now, Oliver?" He hesitated, then opted for honesty. "Because your methods work better than ours? Because I think we could learn from you." The project began professionally. Enough weekly virtual meetings, data exchanges, strategy sessions. But as the collaboration progressed, Oliver found himself increasingly drawn to the leader Jasmine had become. Her confidence wasn't manufactured or performed. It emanated from knowing her own worth. During her consultation visit to Seattle, Oliver invited Jasmine to dinner, explicitly calling it a business meeting to avoid presumption. Over wine, he finally addressed what had been unspoken between them. "I owe you an apology," he said quietly. "Not just for dismissing your feelings back then, but for never fully seeing your value when you were here." Jasmine set down her glass. "I don't need an apology, Oliver. That chapter closed a long time ago. I know, but I need to say it anyway." A little bit. You were the backbone of our biggest successes, and I took that for granted. I confused flash with substance back then. I missed what was important. Something shifted in Jasmine's expression, not softening exactly, but opening to possibility. What are you really trying to say? She asked. Oliver met her gaze directly. That I'd like a chance to know who you are now, not as a former employee or current consultant, just as yourself. Jasmine considered him carefully. I'm not interested in being anyone's revelation or second choice, Oliver. I wouldn't expect you to be, he replied. But I think we're both different people now. Maybe we could discover who those people are, starting from here. Over the following months, their professional collaboration evolved into a friendship built on mutual respects, something neither had anticipated. Oliver made efforts to understand the values that drove Jasmine's work, while she recognized the genuine growth in his perspective. When the consultation project concluded successfully, Jasmine expected their reconnection to naturally fade. Instead, Oliver proposed a joint venture, a new, sustainable technology initiative that would combine Reed Innovations' resources with Texas Stain's methodology. As equal partners, he emphasized, your vision guiding our implementation. On the ferry returning to Vancouver after their final planning session, Jasmine realized something had fundamentally changed. The validation she had once craved from Oliver no longer mattered. She knew her worth independent of his recognition. What remained was something more interesting, to people who had grown into versions of themselves that could genuinely see and appreciate each other. You know, she said as they watched the Seattle skyline recede, 2 years ago I would have found this partnership vindicating. Oliver glanced at her, and now, Jasmine smiled, the wind catching her hair. Now I find it promising, not because of our past, but because of who we've become since then. The ferry pushed forward into open water, leaving the familiar shore behind, much like they had both done with the people they used to be.